Hi Ellen, I'm going to go over your exercises that we did yesterday just to cover the basics and make sure that you didn't forget anything. The first one we did was clams, and I gave you the option to do it against the wall, which I think was super helpful to you. Really helped you isolate the proper muscles. So we want to line up our back along a wall, make sure that our whole back is on it, especially our hips so that our hip can't roll backwards. Our knees are bent, feet are together. Now keeping the hips stacked, you're just gonna lift up your top leg only so much as you can do with your glute. We're not relying on your hip to pull it back and get really far open. It's a very small movement, just using these muscles here that externally rotate the leg, which is something that we really wanna work on with you. So isolate, lift. Good. And you can do this a couple different ways. So we said 15 repetitions. If it starts to get easy, you can also hold a little bit longer just to give yourself another option. But you'll feel all right in this area. It means you're doing it right. So that was our first exercise, clams. The next one we did was a side bridge, which was in a similar position. You just come up on your elbow, and you want to make sure that we're setting the shoulder. So the shoulder's not in our ear. We're pressed up and out and have a nice strong shoulder. And then we're just going to squeeze the glutes and ever so gently lift up slightly. So the shoulders down, pressed away from the ear, squeezing the glutes and up. Super gentle and easy. Now this is a great exercise because it works your whole core, shoulders to hips. It's a harder exercise. We're progressing you a little bit. So start small. Maybe you just get a little bit off the ground, or maybe you just start with 3. And then you work your way up as you go and as it gets easier. So that's the side bridge. And then you had your straight leg raises. So this one, there's 2 versions. You're doing one where your leg is back behind you and then you're lifting, which is great. I also want to go back to the wall like we did for the clam. You set up exactly the same, but then one leg is straight. That top leg is straight. So we're going to keep the hips stable and just lift that leg. Okay, and it's straight up from the hip joint. Now we talked about external rotation, so taking that knee, twisting from the hip to bring your leg externally rotated towards the ceiling. So we're opening that knee up to the ceiling. Now this automatically engages the glutes. So if you remember, we talked about just doing that external rotation, just sitting and going through that external rotation over and over again, about 10 times, or you can keep it in external rotation as you do your leg lifts, which is gonna change the musculature that we used. So those were the exercises we did yesterday. We also talked about the lacrosse ball, the little ball, and rolling your glutes and your TFL. So remember, your TFL is if you wear a pair of jeans, that little coin pocket that nothing fits in, that's right where the ball wants to go, and you just want to go around the hip, kind of in an arch, around the outside of the hip. And just look for any areas that hurt. If you find any areas that are sore or tense, just roll it with the ball a couple times and try to let those tissues relax, just like you would do with a massage. And then we'll pick up in 2 weeks with more exercises and further strengthening your hips. Great job, Ellen. I will talk to you soon. Bye.